Hey NorCal Carter friends, this is Jason. Here's a quick little tech tip. This here, as you can see, is a gas tank. This happens to be a Track Magic with a CR80 engine on it. But it's very important to remove the gas tank. If it's an older kart, make sure you can order a new tank because there's a good chance you'll crack it or it's already cracked if it's an old tank. Once they have gasoline running through them and the gasoline dries out, the tanks become brittle. So be aware of that. I've already started cleaning the floor pan, which I should have did this video first. But if you look at the bottom of the tank, you see the oil and grime. What'll happen is if that's gasoline and oil, because it's a two-stroke, it'll get on the bottom of the tank, it'll evaporate, then it becomes very sticky. And then what happens is all the dirt and grime when you're driving on the track, it gathers underneath the tank. And just imagine like 80 grit sandpaper sitting there working on the bottom of the plastic tank. I personally have never seen a fuel tank get rubbed through from debris. I have seen the floor pans get rubbed through because of that debris. We have aluminum floor pans. We have plastic gas tanks. So it's like 80 grit just sitting there grinding away. The other thing, I'm going to try my best. That sludge in there, it's pretty darn thick. So what happened is this cart sat with oil and gas in there, probably mixed properly. But over the time, it just evaporated. And as you can see, all that sludge, if you don't take the gas tank out, there's no way to remove it. If you just add fresh gas to this, that sludge is going to remix in with your new fuel and go all the way through your fuel system. And you have to go through and rebuild that whole system again. So just take the gas tank out. You'll also notice in there, there's a couple of fuel lines. On carts that sit for a while, it's not uncommon for this fuel line on the inside to rot out. And what happened here is that fuel line rotted out. And instead of them pulling the tank to try to fish it out, they just added a new fuel line. You can see the pickup there to the bottom. So the old one is just rotted out. And there's some sort of red cap in there. Not really actually sure what that is until I pull it apart. But yeah, just remove the tank. And again, make sure you can order a replacement tank because old fuel tanks will be brittle. And I would say half the time I do a service job, I quote someone a new fuel tank just in case I crack it breaking it or breaking it as I'm pulling it out. And I tell them up front, hey, there's a good chance I'm going to break your fuel tank. It's old, it's brittle, they don't have a surprise. The surprise is when I don't break the fuel tank, and then what I'll do is I'll pressure check it, make sure it's holding air before I install it back in. And yeah, that's it. That's your tech tip of the day. So always remove the fuel tank, clean it. What works really good is I'm going to use some old gasoline on the inside to get most of that sludge. And then I used just a mild degreaser on the floor pan. Then I cleaned it up with some brake clean. So that's going to be nice and clean, nice and smooth, so it doesn't do any abrasion. But again, I'll use some old gasoline on the inside of the tank till all that sludge is gone. And then I'll rinse it out with either a carb cleaner or brake cleaner, or even sometimes just pump gas. Brand new pump gas makes an excellent cleaner. So there's your tip. Have a great day. And this video is brought to you by extrakartparts.com.